To kick off episode 3, we are going to cover all of the transfers that have happened across season 3, starting off with Pierre Kalulu being allowed to go to Borussia Dortmund. Now, it wasn't a player that was on my list of players to sell really, but they came in with a bid of about £40 million, decided that that was actually enough for us to consider the move. Adding that 40 to the 29 that we already have was a good start for the transfer window. The next player to leave was Christian Pulisic. Now, this is a player I really didn't want to sell. He, though, in the summer decided he didn't want to be a rotation option with Chukwueze anymore. He wanted to leave. My only down point to this transfer is that he moved to Juventus in the same division because they paid around £90 million for him, which is actually a good profit for the club. And I thought it's a great chance for us to start reinvesting a lot of money in the playing squad. Next to go was Tommaso Pobega. He was another one. As soon as a bid came in from Real Madrid, it was about £40 million. He decided he was off. He didn't want to hang around anymore. Wanted to go to Spain, so we didn't stand in his way. The next player to leave was Peter Musa. As I said in episode 2, it was a bit of a toss-up between him and Lorenzo Luca, who would replace Giroud. Luca ended up winning out. Musa, I don't know what it was about him. He just didn't seem to perform when I needed him to perform. And it's just one of those things where I think we could probably go out and in the long term get a younger striker to come in and be a project going forwards. Aston Villa paid roughly what we paid to Benfica. So it was nothing ventured, nothing gained. He basically was a free transfer because we got the money back that we paid for him. That meant that there was holes now in the squad. But we had a lot of money to spend. So let's show you the first of the big signings. Isn't what you would expect. Tanguy Ndombele is probably not what you would be thinking in terms of a big rebuild, but this does have method to its madness. And Ndombele was available for around £5 million from Tottenham. He has experience in big leagues before and has played well. He's just a stopgap. He's a player that can come in and play a couple of positions and will do a decent job for the money we paid. Next up is Dario Esugo, one of the wonder kids in FM24. He's brilliant in real life for Sporting and he's going to go on to be a big player. Luckily for us, at the age of 21, we were able to snap him up for not very much money and he plugged straight in as a defensive midfielder and he will develop into that defensive midfield role to make it his own. Hugo Ekitike is the next player. He's one that comes from PSG. This one was a bit of a snap signing. Once Musa had left, we needed a striker. Had a look at PSG and he was available. Only cost around 12 or 13 million pounds, so not the end of the world. If it doesn't work out, we can always move him on. But as I said, he's a younger player, somebody different to Peter Musa. He's still 6'2" and he still does have decent finishing. But hopefully he can develop as the game goes along and he will have a job to do if Luca gets injured or we need a rotation piece. The next player to come in is a big name. It's Heung-min Son. This is one of the new features of the game, the intermediary. So on a report, we got an intermediary report and we were offered Heung-min Son for £30 million. Had a look at him and thought, 33 years old, he's demanding £300,000 as an impact sub. Go on then, we'll take a risk on that. So he's going to slot in either on the left or on the right. It may mean that Leo moves to the right and Son plays on the left, but he's such a big name, could not leave him on that report. So we went and snapped him up. Absolute no-brainer for me. And the final player, the most expensive player in Season 3 is Florian Wirtz. We had to pay £85 million for him. But my gosh, is he worth every single penny. He's going to slot into that midfield. So whether it's Andor or Loftus-Cheek that's sacrificed, doesn't really matter. He's going to be our wonder kid star. It says there he could still improve and he's a 4.5 star rated potential ability and current ability player. I think he's absolutely fantastic and everything that we need in the middle of the park. So with those upgrades in the playing squad, how are we going to get on in the Season 3 competitions? After winning the Supercoppa Italiana in the previous season, we got nowhere near it this season. We were knocked out in the semi-finals of that by Fiorentina as we lost 4-2, so that will probably disappoint the board. In the Coppa Italia, as always, we came in at the third round. We beat Salernitana 6-2 in the third round to go into the quarter-finals, where we would face off against Inter. We beat them 3-1. In the semi-finals, We would play against Atalanta, where we would win 3-1 on aggregate. And then in the final, we would face off against Juventus, where we absolutely dominated them. We won 6-2 to lift another Coppa Italia. At the end of episode 2, I said that the big one that was missing was the Champions League. So this season, we started off in the league phase again. We did a bit better this time around. We finished in 9th place, having played 8 games. We won 5 of them. We drew 1. We lost twice. Had a goal difference of 7 and finished on 16 points. So we actually only missed out on automatic qualification for the next round by goal difference. Finished 6 points behind Liverpool, who won the league phase. That would again put us into the knockout playoff round. We would be drawn against Borussia Dortmund. We dispatched of them 6-4 on aggregate. In the round of 16, we would come up against PSG, where we would win 7-4 on aggregate. In the quarterfinals, we would knock out Aston Villa 3-0 on aggregate. Progressing to the semi-finals, we'd beat Chelsea 8-3 on aggregate. And that would put us in the final against Manchester United, where, unfortunately, we would lose 3-1 in the final. We got oh so close, ever so close. Unfortunately for us, it just was not our day, and Manchester United were the better team on the day. That once again leaves us with Serie A to win, and win Serie A we did. This time around, we amassed 92 points from 38 games, and to break that down, we won 29 times, we drew 5, we lost 4, had a goal difference of 74 and finished on 92 points to win the league by 5 points from Inter Milan, which should hopefully please the supporters. We were miles clear of Napoli and Lazio, who finished 3rd and 4th. This season, we struggled for goals in terms of our main striker. We did spread them around. We do not have a player in the top 3 for goals scored for a change. Leao got a 7.37 average rating. Son got 16 assists when he was playing the games. So it was a decent enough league campaign for us. I think in terms of the goals, we will go into that a little bit when we go into the squad and show you what we can improve. But once again, we have had a fantastic trophy haul. Serie A, Coppa Italia, and oh so close in the Champions League. Looking at the finances, as we head towards Season 4, we can see that we have a transfer budget for next season of £28 million. We have a wage budget of £3.3 million, but we're only spending £2.9. In the bank balance now, the club have £167 million. So everything is going in the right direction. Everything is healthy in terms of the finances. And I think going forwards, we really can start to invest in the playing squad if we can just get that transfer budget up just a little bit more. In terms of the club vision, the actionable objectives now are work within the wage budget, not a problem. Maintain the club's status as the most reputable team in Italy, and we're on course for that. In terms of the 5-year plan, at the end of next season, they want us to reach the latter stages of the Champions League and win Serie A once again. On the right-hand side, the board have scored us a B. They are pleased with last season's performance. The board culture now is just to strive to make progress on and off the pitch. They've finally dropped the under-23s for the first team because it's not realistic when you're in a rebuild, really. If you need players for here and now, when you are losing experienced players, you need experienced players. So they've finally given up on that one. Their notable highlights: pleased with the impressive 5-0 dismantling of Roma. Pleased with the 2-0 victory over Lazio. Delighted with the positive atmosphere in the changing room. They are criticising us for losing in the Champions League final and for a defeat against Spezia in the league. In terms of the supporters, are they happy? A B from the supporters is not bad. Strive to make progress on and off the pitch. Finish above Inter in the league. They're satisfied. I don't know how much more we can do. We've won the league. They finished 2nd. Finish above Juventus. Very pleased. Maintain the club's status as the most reputable team in Italy. Just like with the board, we're on course for that. They are pleased with the 6-2 Coppa Italia final triumph, the 5-0 dismantling of Roma, and the 8-3 aggregate win over Chelsea in the Champions League. They're disappointed about the 2-1 loss to Spezia and the performances of Avantaggiato and Dante Banfi. So, our job security is still secure. We're not moving on that, but we have had some good feedback. And again, it's more building blocks to build upon, hopefully, to get a A grade as we go forward into season number 4. To wrap up season 3 and head into season 4, we are going to look at how the squad is lining up. As always, going to look at the best 11 from my point of view in the tactic that we are using, which is still the 4-3-3. Then we'll look at the assistant manager's opinion before wrapping up to go into season 4. So my best 11 from this season was Milan in goal, Hernandez, Tomori, Tior and Stanisic. We've now got Asugo as the defensive midfielder. Wirtz and Lipani are my midfield centre partnership because they are fantastic. Son on the left, Leao has moved to the right now, and that means that Okafor is the striker, which was predicted by my assistant manager last season. He has overtaken Luca in terms of that. If we look at Son's contribution coming in as a £30 million player, I believe, it's £34 million player. Total appearances 34, goals 14, assists 16, player of the match is 3, 7.27 average rating. So he has really chipped in. And as you can see, at the age of 33, he still retains nearly all of his abilities. He's starting to lose a little bit in the acceleration and the pace, but I do believe he's perfect for Serie A. Going over to Leao. Let's have a little look at his career stats for this season. So 27 appearances, 18 goals, 5 assists, 5 player of the match awards, and a 7.37 average rating. The only thing to show you with Rafa Leao is that the injuries are starting to pile up. He's starting to get little knocks and niggles here. 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, nothing major, but all those little accumulation of injuries is starting to take its toll on him. And then at the top of the pitch, as I said, Okafor is now playing as a striker. And his stats for the season are 29 appearances, 11 goals, 3 assists, 4 player of the match awards, a 7.31 average rating. So if we go into the squad planner and have a look at how our assistant is lining us up. In terms of the best 11 there, it's Milan, Hernandez, Tomori, Tior, Stanisic, Lipani, Reinders, Wirtz, Leao, Son, and Chukwueze. So interesting to see him still put Leao on the left side, Chukwueze on the right side, and he wants to play Son as centre forward. I personally would still play him as a winger, but it's a difference of opinion that obviously last season he would play Okafor there. I ended up buying into that as a striker, so maybe there is something in it. Maybe we could look at that. In terms of Reinders, I still don't get why he's there. I haven't really been playing him. He's upset, doesn't want to be at the club now. Sharon Dorr, as you can see, is the purple player for that position, which is exactly what I predicted at the start of the save. We also have Lipani, who can play both as a defensive midfielder and as the Mazzala, so that is perfect for us. Dario Sugo is the player behind him at DMC. So we are now starting to form this nucleus of players that really are going to start to drive the team forward, especially with the younger players like Wirtz, players like Asugo. We've got Son coming in for the experienced players. Chukwueze is still contributing. The team really is starting to stack up, and it really is starting to push on as a squad. In terms of the weaknesses and strengths then, so overall depth is still a problem, trying to fill in gaps as we're going along, but obviously the transfer budgets and those kinds of things play into that. Corners, Lorenzo Colombo really hasn't played any games. He played a couple of rotation games and he has been disappointing. Work rate and ethic now is being questioned. Aggression, goals against are an alarming 21 of 66 assists conceded inside the last 47 matches have come from inside the penalty area. So again, something to look at with the defensive line maybe. In terms of the strengths, we now have goalkeeper command of area, pace, jumping reach. Best player form was Chukwueze, who had a 7.94 across his last 5. Youth prospects, we have Bartasegui, Liberali, Bonomi, Frederick Nissan, Capelletti, Lassen, Mariani and Darius Stalmack, all at the club. There are quite a few good dribblers. Kicking is the strength of the goalkeepers and long throws. There are a few more there, but you get the gist of it. Basically, we need to have maybe a look at the defenders. I think we're going to need another striker going forwards. I think we need a project or somebody who can just go in there. I was trying to play Ekatiki, wasn't really fitting into the role, so he might be one that only lasts a season. But it's one of those positions where you can basically swap players in and out and see who fits the bill. And eventually we will land on a striker who fits the bill. So to round up Season 3, we've won Serie A once again. Champions League, oh so close. Runners up to Manchester United. Coppa Italia, we won that. Super Coppa Italiana is not that important, but we didn't finish in the position that the board wanted us to finish. But another fantastic season nonetheless, and we will move forwards into the next season in really, really good form. Right then, if you're still with me at this point of the video, firstly, a big thank you. Secondly, if you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe button to help the channel. Also, hit the notification bell. You won't miss any of the other parts of this series that are going to come out. Before you go, don't forget to check the rest of the channel. There are other videos. There are Wonder Kids. There are hints, tips, tutorials. There are save ideas if you haven't picked a team to manage already. There are a lot of other things on the channel that you can check out. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching. Hope to see you on the next episode of the Milan Save.